welcome to today's video. Today we're actually looking at the VTC6500 again. So this is my deck, which I've been working on, and I purchased off of eBay a spares deck, which is this one. And it turns out that the spares deck is actually in far better cosmetic condition than my deck. I still need to make up new frontage here, but thanks to Richard I still got the image for that, so I can get that sorted. But we have the front flap, we also have the top flap. This is in much better condition, and apparently it is working apart from the idler for rewind and fast forward. So I'm going to be taking a look at this now, just hooking it up to the TV to see if it works. So let's see if it works. So the good sign is it does appear to be working. There's the picture, not bad at all. See, he's using a tape that was recorded on a VTC M20. So obviously the tracking is obviously slightly out, but you would expect that between two different VCRs, especially at this sort of age. Let's try pause. Pause is typically good. Fast forward search is absolutely spot on. Rewind search is also spot on. So really this is a very viable project. So the next thing that I'm going to do, and I'm not going to record this because we've covered it already, but I'm going to take a look at the fast forward problems. So if I just stop the cassette, and if I try rewinding, so you can see there, oh, you can see there the jog, but oh, it's done that annoying thing. That is a very annoying fault, which seems to be a trait of these particular decks. So if I try ejecting, thankfully it hasn't left me with a load of tape in the machine, so that's good. But the problem is going to be down here, and it's going to be the rubber idler. So let's get this off and let's see if we can get that fixed. So I've just taken a look at that idler. I've actually just turned it inside out to see if I can get some traction with it there. It doesn't appear to be cracked, so some rubber renew may actually bring it back to life. I'm going to see if flipping it around actually brings it back to life first. This is the current drive belt. This is a brand new drive belt that I've got. You can see that this one is a little bit, don't know if you can see that, but it is a little bit cracked. So I'm going to replace it with this one. Hopefully this isn't too big. Hopefully this will fit properly. At the moment, doesn't look too hopeful, unfortunately. That's really annoying. That's actually too big. That's terribly annoying, actually. Not to worry. Let's put this one back on, and we'll just have to factor in that we will need a replacement belt. It is possible this belt will actually suit the M20, so that's the one I bought it for. So that does actually suggest that the M20, because it does have a different, slightly different idler mechanism, may also have a slightly different belt size as well, which is quite possible. Not to worry, we can put that one to one side, and we can probably use that in the M20 at some point. But for now, as you can see here, this is the earlier type idler assembly, because you have the rubber idler for fast forward and rewind operations, but you have this cogged idler which is used for playback and rewind fast forward search. So I'm just going to take that little circlip off, put that to one side, which I think, yeah, I have. And this will just go, as you can see, that just goes on top of there, like so. And then the circlip goes back on and locks it back into place. So once all of that is reassembled, we'll give it another test and we'll see how it goes. What we'll do is we'll probably trick the mechanism by bringing this forward and hitting the, which one's the tape switch? I think that one's the tape sensor switch. That one is, if you look at the cassette, so the one with the purple wire is the erase sensor. You can see the erase tab there. This one is the tape sensor switch. So that should allow us to at least test without a tape in there, fast forward and rewind. So let's get this back together and we'll give it a go. So we've got the cassette back in, and rewind is working well, and fast forward is also working. So what I'm going to do is basically just leave this, do a complete, because this is one of the longer ones, an L750, which is 3 hours 15 minutes. I'm going to leave it to do a full fast forward and rewind cycle, just to see how it goes. You can hear that slight sort of rubbing noise. That's because the idler, because I've turned it inside out, is a little bit misshapen. I've also noticed that there is a bit of slack on that belt, so I will need to get a new belt for this one at some point, and also try and hunt out an idler. Trying to find idlers for these is nigh on impossible at the moment. The square belts are not such a problem, but the idlers are definitely a concern. So what I've been doing, if you ignore this, I'll just move these out of the way, is I've been trying to find different idlers, and I've actually stopped now because it was costing not huge amounts of money, but it was just, you know, sort of a few pounds here, a few pounds there, and you're getting the wrong idler each time. I did manage to find these, but they're not the correct size, although they will suit something else. These are very handy. I actually got these sent over from the States. It's basically a selection of springs, which are quite good. You tend to see these sort of things in JVC idler assemblies and Thorn idler assemblies. Also got these little felt mats, which you see on the base of take-up and supply spools. So they're very handy, keeping those handy. I also bought these tiny little idlers, but again they're not the right size, and yeah, just a little bit annoying really. There's some more there, but again not the right size. They will suit something, so it's not wasted purchases by any means. We also have these here, which I don't think are the right size. They were for a personal stereo project. These are some STK7216 voltage regulators, which you find in the VTC5000. This one I don't think uses one of those regulators. This is obviously the transformer. Behind it you have the power supply board. Oh no, I tell a lie. Voltage regulator is sat on this heatsink. You can just see it underneath the tuner section. Not sure if it's a 7216, it very well may be. One thing that I do want to do at some point is what I'll probably do is actually restore the one in this one. So take the power supply board out of this one, give it a restore and a recap, and fit it into this one so that I don't disturb what is effectively a working supply in a working deck. But items that I want to focus on are all of these electrolytics, especially that large pale blue one down there. These Sanyo branded caps, especially around this age, don't really last all that well. This is quite interesting. Instead of using a bridge rectifier, they've used 4 beefy diodes. They do exactly the same job, but obviously take up a little more space than the arguably more solid state option. However, it works, and arguably they are a little bit easier to replace. Quite nicely labelled on the power supply here. You've got the secondary side, which is obviously going to be our step down, and after those bridge rectifiers, our rectified side. And you've also got the primary side. As you can see here, we have that little red maroon thing, I believe that is a mains suppressor. You've got a mains fuse there, and you've got the mains cable just wired straight into the board there, which that's actually factory, so no problems there. It is a nice simple supply. If you have the service manual, you can obviously measure the outputs off of these terminals at the back if you have any sort of issues with the machine. And we have a little MOSFET there, which I believe is on the DC side, because it's going to be post DC after these diodes. So fast forward status. It is still fast forwarding, seems to be doing okay. Possibly a little slower than you would hope. That might be, in fact that is definitely down to the idler and the belt, so those are going to be two items that I will factor in for replacement. Other items of interest on the machine, you have the main, well one of the main boards is actually on the set top here. So this is the chrominance and luminance board. I think it also has, well, there's a servo section there. I don't know if that's a connector from the servo board. But yeah, there's your servo board there. As you can see, you've got these sort of controls for various different capstan speed scenarios. Yeah, that's the servo block there. But, and obviously we've got the tuner module in there as well. It's it's one of Sanyo's more complex machines, because it does have a few sort of nice premium features, such as this tape remainder indicator and the 14-day 8-program timer, and it also has some sort of nice basic trick features like the pause still, which actually gives very good results. It also has the Sony K connector, so you can hook a camera up to it, which is quite handy. And obviously we have the line tuner and camera options, and also the external mic option as well, because you do have the much fabled audio dub button. Again, very useful if you want to dub over the audio of a video with commentary or music or other such things. And there it goes. Now it's currently rewinding, so it's not perfect, but it works. That's the main thing. As I say, I do need to sort out another belt and another idler for it. Actually, let's just stop it and hit play and just check how it's playing back.
Gangs are aggressive birds and deal firmly with intruders.
And very, very acceptable indeed. Not bad at all. So the next thing to do is I just need to get this front sorted, which shouldn't be too difficult. I need to work out how to prise it away, because it looks like it was glued on originally, so it is probably going to be a case of chipping away at it and then gluing on a new suitable replacement. I may actually do this one as well, so I've got a nice front on both decks, and certainly with this one I'll probably give it a bit of a tidy up on this sort of top lid. Obviously I probably can't source the front flap or the top flap, because you know, once they've gone, they're generally gone. The remote control IR thing here is actually in here somewhere, so I can glue that back on. This one has it's perfectly intact, which is excellent. So out of the two decks, I can sort of keep this one as an active spare, but use this one as a main deck, but also get this one up to standard as well, because they're not a common deck, so it would be nice to have sort of two working decks. But obviously I'll sort the power supply out in that one first, put it into here. If it works perfectly, then I can sort the supply in here out, put the supply in here back in again, and then transfer the obviously working supply back into that one, so that we have two 6500s. Anyway, that is going to be it for today's 6500 update. If you have found this video interesting, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.